professionals. We get things started on time, and we are live.
Killing it.
Luke and Brett.
What is cooking?
So last Friday we talked. We didn't want to unbake or even talk about the Zillow ChatGPT integration.
Yeah.
Because we felt that was a lot to. We couldn't do that in 60 seconds or less.
Right.
So.
Jumping in right at the last minute.
Yeah, so I think that we should just start there. What do you think?
Cool, man. Yeah.
All right, so now when you go to ChatGPT and you start talking about real estate, a Zillow app pops up and allows you to engage. So what's your opinion on that?
I think, it's big picture. We could continue to see this like very, very disruptive. Obviously Google has tons of traffic and search, but as we see more and more people adopting, AI just for basic usage. The implications of that, like it will continue to just chip away at, the day to day. The informed consumer. They could pretty much go all the way through an entire search, comparison, comps, and especially with Zillow's, ability to do loans too. They could be purchase home directly from ChatGPT. So it's got a lot of, pretty significant implications, big picture.
I think you're right. I think what happens is there are let me see how many users, how many people use ChatGPT per day. I think it was like 4 billion. There are 4 billion users, which is weird because I think that's like every single person on the planet. Let's see what it is. As of 2025. No. Okay, so I was off. They have up to 200 million active users per day, and they have over 1.8 billion visits per month, averaging 8 to 10 million queries per hour. That's a lot.
Yeah.
That's a lot. And the way I see it is the way that it affects real estate. I actually think it's going to give the real estate agent the back to an advantage, and I'll come back around to that. But
yeah.
I think what this does is a lot of people are starting to engage with ChatGPT initially.
Mm-hmm.
They might be doing Grok, they might be doing Gemini. I think it's clear that ChatGPT is the dominant platform right now. But where I see this affecting it is because it's a natural language model, because people are talking to ChatGPT as it's a person. They're now having that first level conversation with AI. It used to be, and I think it still is. I think what Google has said is that the most consumers, 100% of consumers that are surveys use the internet. And I always joke that if you come up with a client who lives in a rural area that don't use the internet, find the real estate agent that you like least in your market and refer it out to them, because it's going to be a complete nightmare to work with that person. But they're saying that 9 out of 10 consumers work with an agent to sell a home. 81% only meet with one agent they only interview one agent before they list the home.
Right.
And Google says that nearly 90% of all consumers, they've made the decision on what they're going to buy and who they're going to work with before they actually meet with someone. And it's due to the online research that they have to get to know, like, and trust. They say that, I think the number is, buyers and sellers will research their situation for an average of like 6 to 10 weeks before they're actually comfortable meeting with someone. And I think that translates into someone selling a car or to buying a pair of jeans. I think,
right.
I'm in the process, as I think you are, my video went, there we go. Anyways, it's to the online research. Now you throw an AI And now it's not just a search, now it's a conversation.
Yeah.
And it's an easy conversation because now when a question comes into your mind, you don't have to search all these different pages and scour through data to get those answers. The answer's just there. And I think
Right.
I actually think it's a win for the consumer.
Huge win for the consumer. I mean, the power shift, the dynamic of like information and search combined is huge because your consumers will like and don't get me wrong, I joke about like how it, could just decimate the industry, but it will definitely shift more of the roles and responsibilities of the lenders, the agents, for that like experience, like interpreting the information when the consumer shows up and they already know pretty much everything they need or want to know about properties and processes and stuff like that. So negotiation, I think the trust will continue to be a huge component in that, which obviously you touch on that a lot, which is that those conversion where they've done that, they've exercised the diligence and they're ready to make a move. So um but yeah, man, it's it, and it's just getting started, which is the educated consumer.
I'm still seeing a lot of real estate agents not engaging with ChatGPT. I shouldn't say a lot. I mean, I'm there are some though that highlight that they are still frustrated and they don't understand it and they don't get it. And these are typically seasoned real estate agents. Quite honestly, top real estate agents are typically older. They've been in the business a while. You have those rare, you have the minority that are just go-getters and they succeed very fast and young. But I think for the most
Right.
part, they're older. So, with that though, there are ways that I think that the real estate agent can compete. And I think you and I touched on it last week, is that the old thing is coming new again. So when you go all the way back when Zillow entered the market, they were a wedge, and they figured out a way to embed themselves between the consumer and the listing agent. Because
Right.
the listing agent was the one that would typically get the buyer calls. Because when a consumer is looking for a house, the only person they could reach out to that had the information they wanted was the listing agent. So enter Zillow, and they put that wedge into things, and that was the rise of online leads. That was the rise of buying leads, and that was the rise to the beginning of a lot of things. What's interesting that I find, and I'd like to hear your point on it, what I find is that since the change in the requirement to have a signed buyer agency agreement before you provide services, what that did is it limited the things that people can do without a signed contract, and it almost forced a contract onto it unless you're the listing agent, because the
Right.
listing agent has to provide that information. So it now, what I'm seeing, it now gets that consumer going back and seeking out the knowledge and information from the listing agent. Now they're still doing online research, but they have no interest in speaking with someone that's going to force them to actually sign some sort of commitment before they actually tell them anything.
Right.
So that's number one. Number two is, this is where it comes back to being a specialist, having an area that you focus on, creating content, creating deliverables. Now, it's just a modern version of a farm. You have to claim your primary market area. You've got to know everything about it. You've got to preview property. But now you've got to create content. You can't just keep that in your head. I think that the physical newsletter, monthly newsletter that nobody does anymore, I think there's a great opportunity for that. That drives back to the
Right.
online source. So I think that a lot of this is just more opportunity. You know, the other thing too is Zillow is if you ask about, say, who's the top listing agent or top real estate agent in a market, it doesn't pull up Zillow. It it pulls information on the content that's being provided online. So if you're
You know what?
invisible online, you're invisible.
I, I haven't, I haven't queried a top agent search for a while. But that makes sense. Just like the personal branded, or what is it pulling up? Is it just going straight? I mean, if you're searching Google, I'm assuming it's probably just giving you the map 3 pack just based off your location, or what?
I'm gonna have to research that. But here's what I know is those who are using the free version of ChatGPT, you're not getting up to date information. You're getting old information. I don't know how old, but it's not up to date like the GPT-5. GPT-5 is the most up to date. So it really probably depends on the platform you're using.
Right.
That's why I use Gemini for research, Google Gemini. I use Open or Grok for real time, like what's going on, news and social sentiment.
Yeah.
And then I just use Chat GPT because, I mean, they're the Swiss Army knife. They're the ones who has the most integration, and it's good enough for most. I haven't used Claude. I don't use Claude hardly at all. Do you?
I used it for a little while, and it was mostly just like coding based stuff. So when I was really digging deep into like just like micro SaaS or whipping up little product MVPs, I found it seemed to be significantly better than most everything for that. um, but on a not on a day to day basis.
Now, when you say your MVP, your viable product,
Yeah.
um, are you talking about like reports, like content?
No, so like for example, like I think the last thing that we were working on was taking listings and making videos from them. So basically just copy a Zillow listing and say, make me a Instagram reel from this.
Got it.
So yeah, I mean the ability to like make little SaaS products. So that's where Claude seemed to do really well. In combination with like Cursor or like those other lovable. I think we touched on those a couple times of like just ways to whip up little tools or products. I mean, obviously you could build out a full stack SaaS with it. But um, yeah, that was. I'm not. I don't go super deep. I I try to whip up like a general idea and then ship it over to somebody else
Yeah,
to close it out.
yeah.
But yeah,
Here, well,
but
let's
it's
do
cool
this.
though because you can do some really quick, you know, whip up something really quick, see if there's any interest in it, and based off demand, then continue on with things.
And that's the real thing is it's the speed to market, the things that you can get done. So so the Marine Corps birthday is coming up, 250 years on November 10th, kind of a big deal because, you know, I'm a Marine, so we celebrate
Yeah.
our birthday. But the Marine Corps, they have 14 traits of leadership. And it's an acronym, of course. JJ did Ty Buckle. And so I'm like, okay, well, I want to share with that. And I turned out, and I've been optimizing my LinkedIn, and what I was able to do in about an hour was just create a whole campaign for the next 14 days. And I'm doing it Tuesday through Saturday because when I was speaking with ChatGPT, it says that pretty much Sunday and Monday don't do it. Just so because on
Mm.
Tuesday and Saturday, just because of the engagement. So I've been able to create all these thumbnails, create all the posts, create all the titles and everything, and get that scheduled. In fact, if you go to LinkedIn, you're going to be able to see it go at 7 a.m. Eastern time every single morning for the next 14 days. Now, that's given me a really good buffer just to continue to add more content without having to, worry about what am I going to post and it has to go live right now. So it's very, very consistent. And it did. It took me about an hour yesterday, and I just hammered through it. Normally, that would have taken just, oh my gosh, that would have taken so much time. But so I
Yeah, I
went
mean,
to. Oh, go ahead.
no, I was just gonna say that's perfect example of like batch creating and the ability to, the ability to have 2 weeks of content and um, in an hour ready to rock and roll is just next
Yeah,
level.
I'll show it to you. Let me see. Let me go ahead and share it right here. Okay. So yeah. So um, created my banner, created my title, created pretty much everything, my whole image, and then this one went yesterday that introduces JJ did tie buckle, and then each
JJ
one of these
did tie
posts,
buckle.
yeah, and then it just goes through, and each post it just gives the first one's justice, it's the first leadership trait, and then go through it, and tomorrow at 7 a.m. it's going to do it again.
You use ChatGPT to make everything,
Yeah, yeah.
images and all.
So what's interesting is that my headshot, I used Headshot Pro, and I
Okay.
uploaded like 15 different pictures,
Yeah.
and it AI recreated the whole headshot and everything, and it was like, I don't know, it was like $50 or something like
Okay,
that. But
I'll
they have
take
a
that.
guarantee that you'll at least come out with one that you like, or they'll give you back your money. So I'm just like, look, there's no risk here. Number one, it's not a huge cost. Number two,
Yeah.
there's really no risk. So why wouldn't I do it? So I did it, and I came out with like 30 different ones that I could use. I have one with me in a tux. I have one with me in dress down. I have a realtor one standing out in front of a house. So,
Yeah.
so that's where this headshot came from. But then as far as the banner, it didn't create the banner, but it did help me fine tune the main headline, the subtitle, and then the colors, all the branding.
Yeah.
So
Looks
it
good,
did do
man.
that. Thanks. Anyways, what I wanted to show you is I went through and I asked ChatGPT how will Zillow affect real estate. And number one, it says expand Zillow's top of the funnel power. We talked about this. Zillow becomes the first digital point of contact in the consumer's journey. That's big. It strengthens Zillow's zero moment of truth position, and the integration makes Zillow the AI companion during the search. It
What
pushes
do you mean
agents
by
to
the zero moment of truth?
So the zero moment of truth is what was coined by Google, saying, and this is where that stat comes in. It's an actual ebook called ZMOT, Zero Moment of Truth. It was penned about 12 years ago, and in
Okay.
there it says that it used to be only two moments of truth. That is when the consumer recognizes that you exist, and then they try your service, and then the second one would be that they try your service and they have an opinion of it, and it's evolved. So what
Okay.
Google has said is that technology has changed things. Now there's a prequel to that. Now there's a zero moment of truth. And that zero moment of truth is the online research a consumer does before they engage with a salesperson or they buy a product. And that's where they came into the statistic that 88% of all consumers, they've already made their decision on what they're
Right.
going to buy and who they're going to work with. So that's where this zero moment of truth comes in. It says that Zillow now controls more of the zero moment of truth because of that discovery period, because of the information
Yeah.
that it can do. And it says the discovery and research phase where buyers and sellers form opinions and shortlist who to contact later. That's huge. It's
Yeah.
huge. And then it says it pushes agents to rethink their discoverability. It creates new automation and lead flow opportunities. It forces a strategic decision, compete or co-opt. So for the agent, you either work with, you're either in with Zillow or you're not.
Right.
But then I also went through and I asked it, how does one compete? How many agents choose? Okay, that's not the one. It was, how do real estate agents who are not Zillow customers compete? And it says Zillow's integration changed attention, not the market. Um, so it doesn't change who wins the listing appointment. It just changes the. It gives Zillow more attention. It says that build a direct to consumer path, and this goes into the data that you and I have talked about, or not data, but
Right.
it talks about creating a Google business profile, create hyper local YouTube content, create a blog or newsletter tied to a call to action, and
Yeah.
then offer free guides. Like everything that you and I have talked about and that we've promoted, it's now no longer, it's closer to oxygen when it comes to business if you're going to
Yeah.
compete in the modern world. It says turn AI into your advantage. Don't compete with ChatGPT. Use it. Create custom GPTs. I mean, I think that's huge. Become searchable. That goes in with the creating content, and then play a different game. Focus on authority, not aggregation. So don't try to be everything to everybody. Just claim your primary market area and become very, very good at it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what it says.
I love that. You got to shoot that over to me. Good stuff there.
You want me to copy the results of it and shoot it over to you?
Yeah, or just do the share link thing.
Oh, well, look at that. I didn't even know there was a share link thing. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh, copy link. And then you want me just to text it to you?
Sure.
That's easy enough because I'm on a Mac. So
Boom.
when I just does that share the whole thread
The
with you?
whole blog. Yeah.
Dude, that's awesome. I didn't know that. You just
Mhm.
taught me something.
Yeah, well, there you go.
There
Awesome.
you go.
Easy win. Um, yeah, those there's a function on there too where you can like um I forget. Anyway, I'm kind of there's something with this where it can make it discoverable too when you're sharing it, like with those share links there's like searchable. I'll have to look into that a little bit more. I had mapped out some stuff on it because I mean it was like basically just kind of like how to hack
Uh huh.
search. Like you could manufacture your own type of write a PR about Brett Matsura being the number one blankety blank. And it's like indexable. Oh, you know what it is? It was through Grok. Grok was indexable. Their chats, meaning like you could ask Grok to make like a PR blurb about Brett, make that PR blurb indexable about just whatever like the core content,
Yeah.
and then share that. So it'd be like, you know, people go search and come up Brett Matsura, the number one blankety blank. So I went down a little bit of a rabbit hole on people hacking some of the AI type content stuff
Well,
for.
there's something that you just struck on. I think PR is a huge opportunity that most professionals don't take advantage of. And when you know how to efficiently use artificial intelligence, you can create a step-by-step PR campaign. When it comes up with those top real estate agents, it's not just pulling things out of the sky. It's actually indexing information that's available, content that's been created.
Right.
Whether that be testimonials, whether it be from Google Business, whether it be, it's coming from somewhere for them to highlight that information.
Yeah.
But as a core, it is, you've got to create content. You've got to create content for your business. And I can't stress how important that is, because all the data supports that nobody's going to work with you, A, if they don't know that you exist, and B, if they don't like you. And when you see the data that says that 9 out of 10 real estate or sellers use a real estate agent, and 8 out of those 10 only meet with one agent, and we know that everybody has to know you, like you, and trust you before they actually sign with you, like, how much more clear can you get that if you want to grow, which you better be in growth mode, if the real estate sales are down 30%, you need to increase your database by 30%. So,
Right.
like, if you're in growth mode, step number one, well, step number one is claim your primary market, but number two, start creating content.
Amen.
That's
Especially
it.
now as we enter your famous Q5 for
Yeah.
2025.
Yeah.
the
Thanks for bringing that up.
Everybody's starting to start to hear those I'm letting off the gas chatter. I just shake my head every year. I'm like, all
Yep.
right, well, good luck having your best year yet again.
One
um
one week before Thanksgiving and one
yeah,
week after New Year's is the fifth season.
I'm looking into things, to do next year. You're like, just just quit now. Like, you're dying on the vine here. Um, yeah, it
You know what's interesting
can't
with that
can't win
comment,
them all, but
Luke, is that you're right, because that's behavior, and they're going to start. They're looking at the amount of work they need to do to start off next year. And I just shared with you, I literally did several days of work in an hour because
yeah,
of artificial intelligence. There's no reason for them to have to wait to next year, simply
nope,
because of everything. Like, you can start creating content. In fact, you just brought up the fifth season, what I call the fifth season, and that is the holiday season and how things just kind of slow down. So my next post that I'm going to write today, it's going to take me probably like 20 minutes, is going to be how to adjust for the fifth season, and all came from this.
there you go.
There you have it.
Um, if you haven't done so, since you're doing your little LinkedIn blitz, you should try creating a newsletter on there internally in the LinkedIn ecosystem. Um, I should take
That's
my
the
own.
article feature, right? You have the post and then you have the
Yeah,
article. Okay, so
I should.
thank you for bringing that up. So I have this 14 days going on,
Yeah.
and then on day 15, I've already wrote it too. I already wrote the article, and it's going to summarize all 14 as an article.
Okay. Cool.
But you're
You can
saying
post.
use the article as a new. You also create a newsletter, that a periodical.
Yeah. So the newsletter feature in there.
Oh, there's a feature.
Um, yeah. So it's what's what's the name of it again? There might be something, some other naming schematic on it. Um, there's I'm pretty sure it's the newsletter, the LinkedIn newsletter. But anyway, it I tested it a while ago. I probably should have put somebody on it to keep it going, but I saw awesome traction on it.
The
Let me see if
LinkedIn
I can.
newsletter is
Yeah.
essentially a recurring blog style publication that lives on LinkedIn, designed to help you
Yep.
build thought leadership and consistent visibility, keep your followers engaged. All right, I'm checking it out. I'm launching that this week.
It will every time you do a new post to your newsletter. So I mean, you could take every single 14 days, add them on as a newsletter, like Brett Matsura's Guide to Leadership, or whatever you want to name it. And so you get subscribers, which is separate from your connections. Um, and let's see, I did. Uh, I did 15 posts, have 2,500 subscribers. I haven't done anything forever, but yeah, anyway, it's a cool feature to check
Yeah,
out. I
I'm
mean,
gonna check it out because I'm
you can literally just copy and paste everything you did on your post and
yeah,
make each one a newsletter, um,
I'm gonna do
and
that. I'm gonna check it
get a
out.
get a good little boost on that. And the cool thing is every time you create one, LinkedIn will notify all of your followers that you made a new one.
Yeah, it says
Like
it'll
it'll do
email
the
all of them.
email notification,
Yeah,
which is a you know super awesome hack.
I'm gonna do that because I'm gonna focus on my leadership,
Yeah,
business
that's,
leadership for LinkedIn.
that'll that'll never go out of style,
Well, look, JJ did Ty Buckle's been around for 250 years and it's still working.
right? Keep it going. JJ
All right, my
Tiebuckle.
man.
All right, man.
All right, I'll talk to you later.
Have a good one.
Bye.